Hello and welcome to session 46. The topic of today's discussion is from today onwards, the consecutive five classes from 46 to 50 will be based on the techniques that we are going to use in biotechnology and biochemistry. So, first topic is we will be discussing about briefly about principle and application of centrifugation. A centrifuge is a device. Uh, a centrifuge is a device used for separating particles from a solution according to their size, shape, density, viscosity of the medium, and rotor speed. So basically, it is a separating technique. It is a separating technique. A centrifuge is a device used for separating particles from a solution according to their size, shape, density, or viscosity of the medium and rotor speed. So sometimes in a solution, so when we break up a cell, so we have different subatomic components, like we have mitochondria, we have ribosomes, we have lysosomes, we have chromosomes, we have Golgi bodies, and we have a lot of cell organelles which differ in shape, size, density, and they settle at they have different sedimentation, and this sedimentation depends on the density, shape, size, and the viscosity of the medium and speed. So in a solution, particles whose density is higher than that of the solvent sink sediment, and particles that are lighter than it float on the top. So it means when we take a mixture of when we take a solution which is containing two types of say it may contain two types of components. So one is having density which is small, and the other one is having less density. The particles that are having higher density will settle fast. It will settle fast, they will sediment fast. The particles that are having lower density will settle slow, they will take more time to sediment. The greater the difference in density, the faster they move. If there is no difference in density, so we have to use a different condition. The particle stays steady state. To take advantages of even tiny differences in density to separate out various particles in a solution, gravity can be replaced with much more powerful centrifugal force. So, in just if we take in a beaker water, and when I put sand particles, so sand is a mixture, it contains particles or stones or pebbles of different sizes. So the particles that are having larger size, they sediment fast, and that are having smaller size, they sediment slowly, they take more time to sediment. So this sedimentation is due to gravitational power. So here in centrifuge technique, we are enhancing the sedimentation by applying a force that is greater than, that is powerful than the gravitational force. We are using centrifugal force. So let me introduce you about the centrifugal force. So centrifuge works on the centrifugal force. It works on the centrifugal force. So what is a yeah, a centrifuge is used to separate particles or macromolecules. So macromolecules, you know what are macromolecules? Proteins, nucleic acids. On the basis of separation is size, shape, and density. Methodology, it utilizes density differences between the particles or macromolecules and the medium in which these are dispersed, and subjected to artificially induced gravitational fields. This so here we add centrifugal force. We add centrifugal force to sediment fast. So a centrifuge is a piece of equipment generally driven by an electric motor that puts an object in rotation around a fixed axis, applying a force perpendicular to the axis to separate substances of different densities. So yeah, I will show you about the how we can I can make you feel what is a centrifugal force. So what you need to do is uh, you have to take a rope, and to that you have to tie some heavy thing like a stone or any other thing that is having some density. Try to rotate it on your top. Keep the this thing on your over your head and try to rotate that. So this stone or whatever the density material you are having, this material tries to move away from the center. Try to move away from the center. It tries to move away from the center. I think you must have played this kind of games, and this force we call it as an centrifugal force. There is one more force that is exactly opposite to this. See here, the particle is trying to move away from the center. It is trying to move. We call this force as centrifugal force. And there is another force called a centripetal force. The centripetal force is the particle is trying to come towards the center or towards the axis. So we are not interested in this. This is centripetal force. So we are discussing about centrifugal force. So where the particle is trying to move away from the axis. It is trying to move away from the axis. You can experience this force by taking a rope, tie a stone to it, keep it, place it over your head, and just rotate by holding one end of the rope in your hand, the stone other side, and you try to rotate it. The stone tries to move away from you. So that force is called as centrifugal force. So the same force we are going to use here. So the and there are some conditions. Yeah, if the string is longer, the force is more. If the string is shorter, the force generated is less. So and on the same principle, even in centrifuge, we have a axis, center axis of rotation, and we have the tubes attached to it. So these are the tubes. In this we can place our macromolecule solution, or we can place cell suspension, or we can place lysed cells. So cells can be lysed. So cells will contain mitochondria, cells will contain Golgi body, cells will contain chloroplast. And if you want to separate out each and everything, you can also separate out cell wall material, and you can also separate out plasma membrane. So here it works on this particular force called a centrifugal force. Here, by applying the centrifugal force, the 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 things that are having the objects that are having higher density will settle at the bottom first, which is having. So usually when we take a cell lysate, plasma membrane and cell wall material will be the first fraction that is going to sediment first. Then when we remove, and again when we enhance the speed, the second thing what we get the cell membrane. So it will be like that. So whichever is having more density will settle first, then lower than that, then lower than that. In the last fraction we will get the ribosomes, because they are most they have very low density. They settle at very high speed of centrifuge. So the principal rate of settling, so all these things we need to see. So rate of settling of a particle, or the rate of separation of the two immiscible liquids is increased many times by the application of a centrifugal field or force, many a times that of a gravity. Even we can keep it for the gravity, because of the gravitational pull, but that separation may take a longer time. So see, this is a measuring cylinder which is containing a suspension with water, and some sand type of particles are there. So gravel, sand, everything is mixed in this. So it is containing sand plus gravel plus water, right? So all these three have different densities. So when we keep it for some time, it will sediment, and it is forming three layers. The gravel is having higher density. The compounds that are having higher density is forming the bottommost layer, and the density of sand is little bit lesser than the gravel, so it is settling on the gravel, and the liquid is having still less density, so it is forming the third layer. So objects that have higher density will settle at the bottom. So this settling is completely based on the gravitational pull. It is on the gravitational pull. And in centrifugation, what we do is, here we have almost slight differences are there in densities. When I compare mitochondria with the chloroplast, there is no much difference. There is no much difference between the density of these two compounds, and the density is too low. Still we can exploit, or still we can get a separate fraction of chloroplast, or still we can get the separate fraction of mitochondria, or we can get the separate fraction of ribosomes. By applying the centrifugal force and by varying the speed, we can settle the we can sediment as a different fraction of cell organelles. So this is again an example with respect to the time of centrifugation. So this is a mixture, and as the time increases, so you can see here, uh, yeah, this is uh, the objects that are having the very less density, they are floating here, and that is having high density, they are settled in the bottom. So this way we can use, there are different principles of centrifugation. The basic idea here is, uh, we are using centrifugal force to separate different things or different compounds. So some calculation and some theory we'll see here. RPM and RCF. So RPM is nothing but revolutions per minute. So how many times this is rotating? The best example is your mixer, grinder mixer in your home, from which you make your chutney and other things. The blade, it rotates. Please go and read the manufacturer. He must have mentioned the RPM of your mixer. Do you know what is the RPM of the mixer? It is around, please go and check. Many a times it will be around 18,000 RPM of your mixer grinder, what you use at your home. It will be 18,000, or sometimes it will be more than, it is always more than 10,000, right? Okay, so that is so many times in a minute the blade is going to rotate. Okay, so revolutions per minute in regards to centrifugation is simply a measurement of how fast the centrifuge rotor does a full rotation in 1 minute. So we are going to vary the speed in our laboratory. We have small centrifuges, medium scale centrifuges, large centrifuges. All these things can be used according to the requirement. Up to 5,000, up to 10,000, up to 15,000, up to 20,000, and in lakhs also you have high speed centrifuges. And RCF is relative centrifugal force, or G force. Both are same. RCF is expressed as units of gravity, is a measurement of the gravitational force that a sample is subjected to. So RCF is the preferred method of measurement, as it will remain the same even if you are using different centrifuge with a different size of rotors. Types of centrifuge, depending upon the speed, maximum speed of sedimentation, presence or absence of vacuum, temperature control like refrigerated centrifuge, non-refrigerated centrifuge, volume of sample and capacity of the centrifugation tubes. We have centrifugation, different types of centrifuges. Like we will come to that in the next slide. Centrifugation depends on RCF in the centrifuge, size of the particle density, and liquid viscosity. The types of centrifuges are microcentrifuge, which are very small. The capacity is around zero point 0.5 to 1.5 cm cube, and the maximum speed is around 10,000 G. So it is usually used for protein precipitation and like that, DNA isolation from bacteria or plasmid isolation, we use microcentrifuge. Large capacity preparatory centrifuges. So here the capacity is around 7000 G, 3000 to 7000 G, and they have the capacity of around 5 to 250 cm cube. High speed refrigerated centrifuges, 5 to 250 cm cube, and they have uh, lakh, they can run up to 1 lakh. Different separation of nucleus, differentiation, separation of nucleus, mitochondria, protein precipitate, large intact cell organelle, cell debris, we can get everything. Ultracentrifugation, so it is used for microsomal vesicles, ribosomes. So here, because the density of these particles are very very small or very very less, so hence we need to go for uh, ultracentrifuge whose speed will be around 600 G. Ribosomes has to reduce excessive rotor temperature generated by frictional resistance, sealed chamber, and evacuated cleaning. So we require vacuum, and we also require cooling, because when the rotor is rotating for so many lakh times in a minute, the heat is generated. You can feel the same thing when the mixer is rotating for 10,000, or for some time the mixer or the contents within the mixture get heated up. So to avoid that, so once you are planning to isolate a protein or a DNA or any other important biomolecule, high temperature may damage your enzyme, or it may damage your protein or the subcellular component. So when we increase the speed, we require cooling. So these are the examples of these are the examples of laptop benchtop centrifuges, and how it looks like. So this we have in our laboratory, and we also have this version in our laboratory. So this is a tabletop centrifuge, lab centrifuge, and doctor centrifuge, and this is used for this is your medium size centrifuge. We use here for around 10,000 G, right? 10,000 G. We use it for DNA isolation and protein extraction. We also have microcentrifuges, and these are refrigerated. So inside the centrifuge, how it looks. So this is inside the centrifuge, how it looks. So here the particles are having shorter distance, and these are the swinging bucket rotors. Here particles have longer distance to travel, so better separation, right? So here it is fixed angle. So the angle here is fixed. If this is the rotor, the position is fixed. This angle is fixed. So here, uh, this yeah, this rotors, they have a flexibility, they can move like this, hence we call, now they are in this position, say in 45-degree, they can go up to 80 or 90-degree, so they can swing like a swing, how children play. Okay, so it can swing like this. So they have a longer distance to swing, longer angle they can create, and the separation is better. So again, this is how it is in a centrifuge field. So this is a rotor, and you have a rotors attached. So this is a fixed angle. So here there is no rotation, and in swinging bucket it will be like this initially. It can rotate. Yeah, this is what I was telling. Initially it was like this. Now when it is in motion, so when it is rotating, so it can swing up till here. It can create this much of angle. This much of angle it can create. So you get a better separation, right? Okay, so this is how it becomes completely perpendicular. It becomes completely perpendicular. Your if this is the rotor and this is your tube, so it can swing up till here, almost it is perpendicular to the axis, right? Applications of centrifuge: purification of vaccines, purification of biomolecules, purification of lubricating and industrial oils, clarification and purification of food products such as essential oils, extracts, fruit juices, and other things, separating cream from milk, purification of fuel oil, reclamation of used motor oil, refining of vegetables oils, and etc. Uh, so thank you one and all. So this is all about the first session.